The West Bank economy is on the verge of collapse. And if the economy does collapse, and that could be imminent, then it's anybody's guess what will happen in terms of the stability in the West Bank, how Palestinians will respond. And of course, with the long history of occupation, we've seen continuing and ongoing rounds of violence. So the question is, how did it get so bad? Since the start of the occupation in 1967, the Palestinian economy has grown increasingly dependent on the Israeli one for two main reasons. One is that the Palestinian economy became reliant on the Israeli currency, the shekel. And secondly, the Palestinian economy has developed into an import economy, and the imports have to come through Israeli ports because Israel is the sovereign power de facto, and so the Palestinian Authority doesn't control the borders. Israel allows these imports to come through its ports of entry and then collects the customs revenues and transfers these revenues to the Palestinian Authority. Now, after October 2023, the Hamas attack on Israel, then the Israeli war on Gaza that continued for 2 years, what we've seen is that Israel imposed a number of sanctions using this dependency to essentially restrict the Palestinian economy, and that has been happening through the movement restrictions, but also through stopping Palestinian workers from traveling to their jobs in Israel, and by imposing financial restrictions, including the withholding of these customs revenues. After 1967, until today, the Israeli military imposed restrictions of movement whenever it saw a security threat. Since October 2023, the number of these barriers has gone sky high, up to anywhere between 900 and 1100. And this way, Israel controls Palestinian movement. It makes it difficult for families to visit each other between towns in different parts of the West Bank. It makes it difficult for trade to take place. So a trader who normally needs 1 hour to travel from Ramallah to Nablus, for example, may now need 2 or 3 hours. And of course, additional cost is transferred to the consumer. And so the cost of living has gone up. The incomes have gone down, unemployment is up, short-term poverty more than doubled. The Palestinian Authority is, some say, already bankrupt because it has reached the maximum of its borrowing ability. It cannot get any more loans. And so services are deteriorating. It can no longer pay teachers in full or health personnel. So the health sector is declining, the educational sector is declining. What we've seen in the past, time and again, with each new generation of young Palestinians, when they have no hope, when there's no horizon for them, then what happens is they may resort to violence, because what else is there? And this is the tragedy that we have seen repeated over and again. Now the situation is becoming even more hopeless. So the main thing is that Palestinians must be given hope. Now, there are certain measures that the Israeli authorities could take that actually would also benefit the Israeli economy. Israel could allow Palestinian workers to go back to their jobs in Israel. There's no evidence that any of these workers in any way provided intelligence or participated in the Hamas attack on October 7, 2023. They do not pose a security threat, and Israeli employers are eager for these workers to come back. But it's a political decision. This government is blocking that until now. Secondly, the security measures imposed after October 2023 have no security rationale. And so lifting these excessive movement restrictions and ending the harassment would also be a step forward. And then, of course, the return of the customs revenues that belong to the Palestinian Authority. That's in the short term. These are measures that would not hurt Israel and could even be beneficial to its economy and security. But beyond that, of course, the economic situation of dependency is unsustainable. And if there is still a window on a two-state solution, then the Palestinian economy needs to be revived. I think there is an absolute necessity for outside actors, the European Union, European states, the United States, of course, most especially among them, to lean on Israel to bring relief to the Palestinians. Eventually, of course, also to end the occupation. But again, that's a long-term political goal. But economically, to at least bring the kind of relief that would allow Palestinians to have relatively normal lives on their land and start thinking about the future again.